What's going on, Cowboys Nation? What is going on? You know, um, every week, every week is something different. It's something different every week with what we hear from this front office. And I decided that I wanted to do a video, but I could never really. I didn't really want to face the camera. I wanted to do this podcast to really talk about a lot of the things that transpired today. Um, as of late, the thing that popped up is that Griffin got traded for a sixth round pick. You know, where in my opinion, it was an experiment that just quite frankly, didn't work out. Quite frankly, didn't work out, and I mean, it is what it is. You get a sixth round pick for him, so in my opinion, that's a win. Is it a win right off the bat? No, because you paid him $6 million. But what's going to happen is Detroit Lions are going to have to pay him that other $3 million. But that sixth round pick, hopefully you draft well. If you draft well, you probably won't even pay that person $3 million over the maybe 4 years that you sign them if they're a good player. Or, with it being a conditional pick, you could probably at some point, flip that and help you move up and get another pick at some point. So um, Griffin really wasn't doing too well with us. It really wasn't a good fit. So I could definitely see where the front office, made the most out of that situation. So I'm not too mad about that. But what I am mad about is, you know, Jerry had these comments earlier, where, and my boy Law Nation did a excellent breakdown of his interview on 105.3 The Fan, where you could just hear Jerry just bumbling and stumbling over his words the entire time. And the couple of things stood out to me. One of their questions was, like who, like with Dalton, the whole Dalton situation. A lot of us have. What's up, Sam? Man, a lot of us don't know. With the Dalton situation, they asked him, quite frankly, how do you feel about that? Like, how do you feel that nobody went over to help him up? And Jerry's answer was, well, in the midst of a game and things of that nature, you got people who might not have seen the play. Like, are you serious? The eyes are always on the quarterback, always, especially when a quarterback takes off. So you mean to tell me that not one lineman saw Andy Dalton get his head lit up on that play. Not one lineman, not one receiver, not anybody. Nobody saw that play. 10 other guys on that field didn't see Andy Dalton get his helmet rocked. Nobody else saw it. When you hear things like that, it makes me wonder. This is exactly why we're 2-5. This is exactly why the title of the video is the way that it is. Who's accountable for us being 2-5? If we're getting answers like that, I think you know what the answer is. Because in that situation, nobody was held accountable. They asked him a question. They asked him, who's the leader? Like, who can we really consider a leader in this locker room? When you go in the locker room, who's the leader? Or do you think that they lack? Do you think that they lack leadership? And Jerry's answer, when he got kind of rude, he got kind of snappy. Jerry's answer back at him was he doesn't think that there's leadership problems. I beg to differ. We all beg to differ. We all know what we're looking at for the most part. We know that there was one leader, and ever since that one said leader is not in that locker room, everything has gone downhill. This team has really stopped competing. They competed for maybe 2 or 3 jobs against the Giants. Other than that, this team has completely stopped competing. And I know that they know that Mike McCarthy is the guy for the job, and what I'm saying, that's cool. But and listening to Jerry talk and ramble on throughout that interview, it's just one thing that was apparent, in my opinion. And apparently they feel bad for the fans, but they think Mike McCarthy's the guy for the job, which okay, you could say that. I don't think that Mike McCarthy has had a fair shake. I think that a lot of the guys that he's dealing with are, Garrett guys, not just Garrett guys, but the organizational guys that they thought would eventually work. Well, what you're seeing now is Mike McCarthy really just can't overcome the amount of crap that they have on this team. But with that being said, I gotta ask the question: have they been tanking this whole time? I know somebody had put that video out there a long time. I'm not sure who it was, but if you look at our roster moves, if you look at the way that we have, if you look at the way that we have kind of went about things, how we haven't gotten better, how we haven't tried to get better, how we're a couple of pieces away, how to keep saying we're a couple of pieces away, but we don't do anything about it, or the fact that we got all the answers on this so-called said best roster, and nobody but for a team that has all the answers on this roster, we can't bust a grape. We can't stop the run. We can't stop the pass. We can't block. We can't run. We can't do any of these things. So when you guys say that we have all of the guys right here, when that's what the front office is telling us, what are they really telling us? Are they telling us that the coaching is bad when they say that, or is it that maybe they just don't know what the hell it is that they're seeing? Because when that leadership question was asked to Jerry, you know what Jerry said eventually? In my eyes, in my eyes, there's not a leadership problem. And I could be paraphrasing, but that's the problem, old man. Your eyes ain't worked for 25 freaking years, bro. They ain't worked for 25 years, man. They ain't worked for 25 years. I mean, it's the ghost of Jimmy Johnson. It's all karma. We're getting what we deserve. And this is what happened, because everything that I heard from Jerry's interview, everything that I heard was a business answer. It was like a politician is running the damn football team. Everything. If you don't believe me, go listen to Law Nation break it down. Because he'll pretty much tell you exactly what I'm telling you. Jerry is a damn politician, businessman, and all of that stuff, all of the politics, all of the fluff, all of the business, all of that stuff comes before anything comes football. That's our issue. That's our big issue. Nothing is a football answer. Nothing. If you listen to him, you listen to Jerry talk. He is the front, the voice of this team, and he has absolutely no idea what he's talking about. None. I'm a football guy. I'm a football coach. I'm in the trenches. And when I listen to him, I'm cringing. I'm cringing because he's giving answers that an elementary kid could give. A fifth grader could give the answers that Jerry's giving right now. Maybe not with the vocab, but not talking about anything. Just talking in circles, constantly putting your foot in your mouth. The fact that you don't find fault in anybody, or you're disappointed by this and that, you're giving general statements. You're what's wrong, sir. I notice you own the team. I know that he owns the team, but he's what's wrong. It's Ben was wrong. This culture stinks. It's the app. It's the organizational culture. It doesn't matter who coaches the team. We had since Jimmy Johnson. How many? We've had. Let's see. We had Barry Switzer, who did win a Super Bowl. He ended up winning a Super Bowl. So maybe if you want to count that as your Super Bowl, Jerry. All right, Barry Switzer. We had Chan Gailey. We had Dave Campo. After Dave Campo, we had Bill Parcells. After Bill Parcells, we had Wade Phillips. After Wade Phillips, we had Jason Garrett. And now Jason Garrett's gone. We got Mike McCarthy. I guess how many playoff wins we have amongst all of those guys? I think Romo got two and Dak got one. I think we got three playoff wins in that amount of time with that many head coaches. You mean to tell me? You mean to tell me with that amount of head coaches, only three playoff wins? You mean to tell me that over the 25-year span, every like all of the things that you've done as a GM should have kept you your job? If that's all I really ask. Like if Jerry hired Jerry, would Jerry still have a job as a GM? The answer would have to be no. He's absolutely failed as a GM over the past 25 years. And everybody can say what they want to about Will McClay this, Will McClay that. Stevens running things now. No, guys, no. It's one thing it's one thing that has kept constant. It's him, and it is Stevens. Will McClay wasn't here, but guess who? Guess who created this culture? Guess who created this culture? It's Jerry Jones, guy. I mean, I mean, I know a lot of guys are asking for Mike McCarthy to get on the chopping block. That's all fine and dandy, but if y'all put him on the chopping block, it's still gonna be more of the same. They're still not gonna bring in the coach that we need here. They're still not gonna bring in the football guys that we need necessary here, because they're constantly and this is how they want to run the ship. And guess what? This means that winning is not important. The checkbook's important. So for me as a fan, like, I'll be honest with you guys. Ever since I really noticed that, I haven't bought any real Cowboys gear. I might buy it from a street vendor. I might buy it that way. I'm not buying anything that has to do with putting money in that guy's pocket. My wife surprised me with a tour of the stadium. That's the most money I put in the pocket of Jerry Jones since uh, I can't possibly tell you. I can't possibly tell you. I don't put money in their pocket because I just don't trust the organization. It's been a long time since I really like. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm a big fan of the players. I love the players that we have. Some of them, you know. I love Zeke. I love Dak. I love Tyron Smith. I love Zach Martin. You know, and I want to see those guys win the Super Bowl. I wanted Romo to win the Super Bowl. I love Romo. I'm a big Romo fan. I've been a big Romo apologist. I wanted Romo to win the Super Bowl, but I mean, it is what it is. Um, Hey Juan, I'll tell you what. I got a live show tomorrow. I'm gonna try and figure out how I can do that, but I might have a call-in number. But I got my man E2. He coming. He gonna be on the channel tomorrow. E2's gonna be on. I talked to him a little bit. I know a lot of bad things happened over the weekend, and we're probably not gonna address any of that. But when me, Elton, and E2 get together, we talk football, and it's great. I love both guys. Great energy, and we're just gonna have a blast tomorrow. At this point, man, the season is so screwed that you kind of got to look for silver lining. The silver lining being, we're gonna talk some draft tomorrow. We will talk some draft because it is early. And I know that we're only one game out. We still could win the division, but I mean, let's be honest. The way that things are right now, it's really hard to look up and say that this team is going to dig their way out. It's really hard to say that. It's really hard to trust anything that comes out of their mouths. Really hard to trust anything that comes out of their mouths at this point. Everything has been complete and utter bullshit at this point, coming out of the Joneses' mouth. Now, Mike McCarthy, to be honest with you, I think he's put together a pretty good front as far as representation of his team. Do I think Mike McCarthy has coached really good this year? No, I don't. But I will say that I think everything has been football with him. I will agree to that. Everything else though, like Steven, you guys hear Steven talk? Come on, man. What the hell Steven do to get that job? Steven haven't done nothing to get that job. What football expertise does Steven have? Steven ain't got no damn football. Steven ain't no football guy, man. Steven inherited that, man. Steven inherited that. Steven don't know what the hell he's talking about. And I'll tell it to him to his face. I could talk circles around Steven about football. And I could talk circles around a lot of the guys that they got making decisions there. I'll tell you that much. Because there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talented guys out there in free agency and the drafts over these last couple of years that we passed over because they're not our type of guys. That's the problem. Your type don't win shit. Your type don't win nothing. All right? It's been 25 years and your type don't do nothing. All right? Your type don't do nothing. And I'm just getting frustrated here. Let me look at some of the comments. Yeah, E Double does need some support right now. Definitely. Keith Parrish says, I've been a Cowboys fan since 1968. I would have pulled for another team, but after pulling for Dallas this long, that would be hard to do. I tell you what, Keith, I got my eyes on the quarterback situation right now. I got my eyes on the quarterback situation right now, and if they do something dirty, man, I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be really it's gonna be really hard for me to sit there and take that because number 4 has been a leader of men. Number 4 has been somebody that I was tough on in the beginning, and he earned every little bit. He's been the perfect professional. He's been the perfect leader in an organization that has, quite frankly, wanted him out of the door since day one. They didn't even want that kid. But he's scratched, he's clawed, he's fought the entire time, and he has the locker room. It's to the point that nobody wants to play because he's not out there right now. And as a fan, I got to back that up. There's nothing that this organization has tried everything to deter this kid. And I'm telling you, if they don't find a way to bring him back after what he's endured, after what he sacrificed over this time, I can't forgive that as a fan. I can't. And I see the writing on the wall. I'm telling you guys. I think they've been tanking this whole time. I think they've been sabotaging this kid. I think that they have not tried to get this roster better on purpose. I think that they've been looking at 8-8, possibly 9-7 this entire time, and I think that they've been trying to make it look like he's not worth the $40 million, or they've been waiting to get that. They're going to wait to franchise him until they get the quarterback, that they want. That's just how I feel about it. I don't think Dak is what they would. I don't think Dak looks like what they want to play quarterback here in Dallas. I think they've been trying to get rid of it. I think they've been trying to shake that from day one. I think that they got rid of Romo's contract, and I think they've been looking for a quarterback ever since. And if one falls to them. You know how I know that? You know how I know they can't evaluate the quarterback position for anything? Paxton Lynch, Connor Cook. Those are guys they tried to trade up for before they got Dak Prescott. Those are guys they tried to trade up for. Right now, they know they have a good quarterback. They know he's a good quarterback. They know that. But that's also why the fan base, why I couldn't understand why we don't get behind him as a fan base. He's been a good quarterback. He's a top 10 quarterback. Look at us. Look at us right now without him. Look at us. Look at how bad we are. We can barely get a first down without this kid. Zeke, look at Zeke right now. We've seen Dak win games without Zeke. We've seen that happen. Look at Zeke without Dak. I know that the line is decimated. The line was decimated in games that he's won without Zeke too. There, you think Tyron Smith has been there every game? No. So I mean, I don't know, guys. I don't know, but I can tell you who I think is accountable for 2-5, and I'm naming it right now. It's Jerry Jones. Jerry Wayne Jones is 100% responsible for why things are the way they are, and they're not looking up either. I promise you this. I promise you, if they pull this snake move, I think they're about to pull. Man, karma is gonna bite us even more. You see, Keith Parrish says it would be cheaper if we draft a QB for the first 5 years. And see, that's what they want you to think. That's what they want you to think. It will be cheaper. Absolutely will be cheaper. But when you have a quarterback, you have a quarterback. You pay the price. You pay the price when you have a quarterback, especially if you think you can win with him. You pay the price. Cool. So let's say they go out there and get that quarterback. Let's say they go get that cheap quarterback. That don't guarantee that we ain't getting another quarterback in the next 5 years. You know how hard it is to find a quarterback? That's the toughest position to find in sport, in all the sports. Finding a quarterback, finding the right guy, the right fit. That is the toughest position to find. It's not as easy to draft a quarterback as it is to draft a running back or edge rusher or a linebacker or a lineman. It's not that easy. If it was that easy, we would have found a quarterback after Aikman. Think about the quarterback merry-go-round we had after Aikman before they lucked up and got Romo. And when I say lucked up, it was only because Quincy Carter had a coke habit, or allegedly had a coke habit. They said a white substance, whatever that is. But if that didn't happen, there's no Romo. We lucked up into an undrafted guy that just happened to be a baller. That was somebody that Peyton got from his alma mater. That was somebody that Peyton brought here. Sean Payton brought Romo here. And with Dak, Dak was just the best quarterback on the board at the time, and they needed a backup quarterback. They tried everything else to not get him. They weren't they weren't happy Dak fell to them. They could say what they want to say. If they were really truly happy with this kid, he would have a deal. He would have a deal. Because the issues that we're talking about is they wanted him cheap later on. But he was willing to bet on himself then. So why not let him bet on himself? We're not talking about money here. We're talking about years. Sandman said Packers drafted a QB and basically told Aaron Rodgers his days are numbered. I don't think his days are numbered though. He's been balling. He's been putting together an MVP type year though. So maybe they just woke him up. Maybe they really woke him up, and really maybe what they'll do is they'll flip that quarterback. Maybe they'll flip that for some picks later on. Maybe Aaron Rodgers bought himself a couple years because he's playing pretty good right now. Playing pretty good. They be crazy in my opinion to get rid of that. I mean, all they really did was find a system to put around him to where he's not throwing the ball 50 million times. They can run the football. A lot of high percentage things. Like they found a way to make one of the better quarterbacks in the league history. They found a way to make things easy for him. They found a way, and I mean they did get rid of Mike. They did get rid of Mike McCarthy, and all of a sudden these things started falling into place. So, I mean, you know, But as far as quarterbacks go, like Trevor Lawrence, I love Trevor Lawrence to death. I think Trevor Lawrence is a can't miss prospect. Heck, I like Justin Fields a lot. I like Justin Fields an awful lot. I like the kid out of North Dakota State as well. I like all three of them, but I can't guarantee that they're gonna. While I think that they're can't miss products, there are also guys that I thought that were can't miss that ended up being complete bums, like complete bums, like trash. We all thought, like I can't lie to you, I thought RG3 was a can't miss. I thought he was a can't miss. Look at like the way that he played there. Then after that first year, like, and look at him. Look at him now, a shell of himself. I can go on for days. I can go on for days for guys that we thought we can't miss. All it takes is one hit or one bad line. And right now, right now our line, yeah, sure, you can still say, oh, well, they were injured this year. Next year it'll be different. But when you have injuries, you're susceptible to injuries. And technically, we would go from really being a one of the younger lines to an older line. Zeke is getting exposed. The true essence of a star player is stepping up when your team is struggling. Yeah. I mean, Zeke is not having a good year. I personally believe that it has a lot to do with obviously the line is bad, but I also think that it's because we're not really coming up with effective ways for him to run the football either. We're not helping him out at all. He's trying to put it all on his back, but in all honesty, he don't really got no threat in the passing game, and then they don't have the line to kind of help him with that. So I mean, I don't think he's really getting. I don't think it's not as simple as just saying Zeke is getting exposed because I think he's in shape. But another thing too, he had a coaching change. Gary Brown worked very well with Zeke. I don't understand why that change was even made. We've had Skip Pete in the past, and we got rid of Skip Pete for a reason. Gary Brown was a better running back coach. Point blank, period. Gary Brown was a better running back coach. Point blank, period. All of the running backs played better under Gary Brown. I didn't understand why that move was made. I'll even say this. I didn't understand why Sanjay Lal was gone. I thought that he was a very good coach. But head coaches they got to bring in who they want on staff. I will say that I think the staffing went from something that we thought was promising to a staff that just has just underwhelmed at this point. They've underwhelmed, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Completely utter disappointment on the defensive staff. Now it could be this though, because I thought in the Washington game that Nolan called a very decent game. I thought that Nolan called a decent game. I think guys like the thing you know how the telltale sign of somebody calling a decent game on the defensive side of the ball is when there's somebody there to make a play. There wasn't a time where Washington was really just completely wide open unless it just blew by somebody, Trayvon Diggs. But there wasn't a time where we were just completely and utterly confused, like in the Browns game when they ran trick plays and things of that nature. There was always a play right in front of somebody. It was just whether or not somebody like Jalen Smith was going to try and dive at ankles or not. For some reason, our guys don't want to hit nobody. They don't mind getting hit, but they don't want to hit anybody. See, Sandman says, you thought Mike Nolan was a good hire. Have you seen his track record? He wouldn't have been the guy that I hired, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, the one thing that stood out to me about Mike Nolan is He was there when he was there when the Ravens at the tail end of the Ravens when they had Haloti, they had Ed Reed, and they had Ray Lewis. I really thought I really thought that they would go safety. I really thought that we would, beef up the interior defensive line. I thought that we would do that with Mike Nolan. I thought we would give him players. And right now, what it looks like it looks like disarray. And it looks like to me like they really just were going into this thing not trying to get players for real. It looks like they were tanking, I'm telling you, to bring that contract value down to that. Because on the defensive side of the ball, it doesn't make sense for you to cut Ha Ha Clinton Dix. You cut Ha Ha Clinton Dix. We cut Brandon Carr when he said some things. Everson Griffin is now gone because we know that at some point he said some things. Everybody that was a veteran that went somewhere else, that had some success somewhere else, looked at this and said, what the hell we're doing here is garbage. There's no other way. Everson Griffin came from a great defense last year. Brandon Carr came from a really good defense in Baltimore. Understand this. This is what's crazy about the Brandon Carr situation that nobody's talking about. Brandon Carr was with the Chiefs, had a solid career with the Chiefs, or we signed him to a big deal. We signed him to a huge deal. He plays for us, plays in a lot of games. And he's somebody that we can consider dependable. Whether or not we believe that he deserved the contract or not, that's beside the point. But he went to the Ravens for a couple of years, had some solid seasons, then came back here and had issues. You want to know why he had issues? Because he had tasted what it is to be in a winning organization, in a football organization that makes all the decisions based on football. That's what Brandon Carr saw. That's what Everson Griffin saw. Those guys saw that, and they saw what the hell we got here and said, this is bullshit. That's what they said. That had to have been it. Ha Ha Clinton Dix. Has Ha Ha Clinton Dix had a great career? No. Has he been a solid safety? Yes. Did he come off a good year in Chicago? I think he did. I could be wrong, but I think he did. Ha Ha Clinton Dix, where has he played? He played at Green Bay football organization. He played in Washington. They're probably a worse organization than we are. Then he went to Chicago, and then he came here. He came here for a one-year deal to be the starter, and they cut him for bum-ass Darian Thompson. They cut him for bum-ass Darian Thompson, who's not even on the field right now. How does that sound like rebuilding? Or tank. I mean, I'm not sure what the word is for it, but there's no possible way that they gave us the best product that we were going to get on the field. There's no possible way. Somebody had to break. All right, put it this way. Whoever said put Darian Thompson in and cut Ha Ha Clinton Dix should be fired. That's a fireable offense. That's a fireable offense right there. Just that one move. Horrible. But understand it, there's still safeties out there. There were still safeties out there when we had that. We were only a safety away. I didn't think the D-line was playing that bad over the first couple of games. The linebackers, LVE ended up getting hurt, but we were our safety, one safety. That's all we needed. We didn't even need to be the best defense. All we had to do was be like the 25th ranked defense, and we could have been 4-0 to start the season. That's all we really needed was the 25th ranked defense. And they would not go out and get a safety. What does that tell you? And we were losing. We were getting blown out. And we were blowing assignment. And they still would make the move. And we had money to do it. They freed up all this money for what? What are they freeing up all this money for? We ain't going to spend it. Everything this year, player personnel-wise, has been questionable. And has been fireable since. Everything that they've told us that we got the guys on this roster. We got the guys on this roster, and they out here ankle tackling. Really, really, big ass 54 out there, getting bulldozed by linemen and ankle tackling. And you gonna tell me we got the guys on this roster for real? Or we ain't got no leadership issues? I'm watching 54 get his ass tore up every game. I see his dreads flying up in the air because he can't either he can't get off a block or he can't make a damn tackle or he can't cover nobody. You gonna tell me we ain't got no issues with leadership when he just got paid when Demarcus Lawrence just got paid and they ain't busting a damn great, but my quarterback out here willing us to victory and you don't want to pay him. What kind of message is that sending? Not a winning one. But yeah, I'm off my soapbox, guys. Tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern Time, be 5:30 on the West Coast. That'll be me, Elton, and E2 Blue. So pass the word because it's gonna be litty tomorrow. It's gonna be a really good show. I can promise you that, and I can promise you the Cowboys ain't done putting their foot in their mouths either. There'll probably be another hot take by tomorrow. But thanks for you guys tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell each time I come out with content. And oh yeah, I forgot this line that I used to say all the time. Make sure you tell your friends about me. All right, peace out.